What's good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to talk about what's going on with Tesla stock in the overall market and break down some very important levels to watch for. I'm also going to talk about the big data that came out and how this is affecting Tesla. Before I say anything, though, let me just mention that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. Anyways, let's talk about this data that came out. The JOLTS job openings report came out at 9.61 million. That is much higher than what the forecasted consensuses happen to be. And this is some bad news for the markets because the job openings are too strong, which means that the Fed is incentivized to be more hawkish based off what Jerome Powell said yesterday and in the past. So the Fed wants there to be pain. They want to bring pain to the economy to slow down inflation. They're not going to bring in as much pain if we keep getting these high job openings amounts, and this could be a factor leading to inflation to remain at the highs it's still at. So that's the reason why the Fed is incentivized to be more hawkish. They may have to give us another rate hike, maintain a more restrictive policy stance for longer now. And if we keep getting hot jobs reports like this, they're going to have to keep doing that. And that's why the market sold off the way it did. It was much higher than what the expectation was, and now the market's looking weaker. So I just want to watch these key levels very carefully. The 4 hour is starting to turn more bearish on Tesla, but we have two possibilities which are worth noting. I just wanted to mention that on the 4 hour chart, Tesla has a possible head and shoulders that could play out. But for us to get confirmation of this break, we want to see it break below this 240 support. If 240 breaks on Tesla, then I could see it beginning to sink much lower. But as of right now, we're holding up. Now, I can't turn insanely bearish on Tesla yet, okay, until we break some key supports because we also have a possible inverse head and shoulder pattern that's developing on Tesla as well. So even if Tesla does sink lower, if we hold this level, then there is still a possibility it bounces if we hold 245. So here are the levels to watch for. Tesla's holding 247 as support. If that breaks, watch 245. If that breaks, then watch 242.5, then 240. We need to see Tesla bounce off 245 for this to be a valid inverse head and shoulder. And then Tesla could start trying to push right back up towards 260. Now, if Tesla ends up sinking even lower and we break below 240, then there's going to be a risk of us invalidating this inverse head and shoulders and validating this head and shoulders, which is going to lead to even more potential downside. All right. So if we break below 240, we're going to turn very bearish on Tesla. If we hold 245 and try to balance, then there is a chance that Tesla could rebound. All right. Those are two very critical levels to watch for. This head and shoulders is a real possibility. So be very careful, guys. The market's looking weaker after all. Now, with the weak jobs report, the very strong jobs report, SPY is continuing to test this 422 support. If we break 422.29, you're going to be watching 420. If that fails us, watch 418. If we bounce off this, you're going to be watching 423.5 as resistance. If we break above that, then we have 424.5. And then after that, we have 427. Right now, we're looking very weak on SPY. We're continuing to sell off on the 4 hour chart. So there's a risk of us testing 422 flat. If that fails us, don't forget to watch the very low 420s. Those could be tested if we break below 422, so watch it very carefully. The market looks weak right now, so I just wanted to warn you guys about this. Watch these key levels very, very carefully. Aapl also broke below 172. If we break down lower, you're going to be watching this 171 area. If 171 fails us for Aapl, you're going to be watching and potentially retest 170.5. 170 is going to be very key for Aapl. If that breaks, watch 169. As of right now, it looks more bearish, so be very careful on Aapl. For the QQQ, watch 356 as support. If that fails us, 354.5 is a real possibility. If we break below 355, then we have 353. As of right now, it looks more bearish. It looks like it might break 356, so be very careful. If we rebound off of this, watch 358 as resistance at 357.5. As of right now, it looks more bearish, so be very careful on the QQQ. I wanted to just warn everyone about this, that the market is still looking very weak, so watch your levels very carefully. Nvda came down to the level we called out in the morning, which is 442. If that fails us, watch 440, then 438. We also have this gap down here around this 435 area that could be filled if we break below 440. So watch support very carefully, especially around 442. We'll see if Nvidia holds. It's looking a bit more bearish right now, which is dragging the market down, at least to some extent. Now the VIX is starting to break out. The VIX is looking stronger again. If you look at the daily charts on the VIX, we're just continuing to break out. So if you break this high, we could invalidate this head and shoulders that was forming, and the VIX can continue to push up, which is making us, the market more bearish. If you look at, for example, let me just double check this. The 10-year is still going up as yields are increasing. Dollar is still holding up. So if the dollar remains strong, it's bearish. 10-year treasury yield is also holding up, which is another bearish signal. So the market's looking more bearish overall based off these signals. And unfortunately, we failed to hold. So now we're actually breaking below the daily 200 EMA, which is a very, very big level. If we break this, we're going to go all the way down to 420 on SPY, and we could sink even lower. For Tesla Watch 245, we'll see if this holds or not, so watch it very, very carefully. All right, guys, so anyways, hopefully this video was helpful for everyone out there. Just know we're looking very weak in the market, so watch support very carefully and do what you have to do. I just wanted to warn you guys intraday as fast as I possibly could. I want the best for everyone, so take care and peace out.